Good morning, wonderful Wednesday. And I see that Foster's had a little nibble at us again this morning, but anyway, here we are. I've just realised I haven't got my mic on, and therefore probably sound very Dalek-y. So do bear with me. I'm so sorry. How very unprofessional of me. But I'm here. That's my mic in. So I'm hoping that's better for you. Anyway, we're talking about an unspoken fear, and this has come up a couple of times at least in the last few weeks for me and for my clients, where when we're digging around or we're talking about what's holding us back and why we can't push forward and get out there and make ourselves vulnerable. And often it's because we already feel so vulnerable. Good morning, Sam. Thank you for joining me. So it's often about the fact that we already feel vulnerable, let alone to go out there and actually put ourselves and choose to put ourselves out there in that vulnerable situation. So anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about. So it is that unspoken fear of what it is that's holding us back. And for the people that I've been talking to, it really does have them in that horrific grip. And until we get it exposed, there are things that they talk about. There's a fear there, there's a hurt, there's a regret, there's even embarrassment and shame. And these are all the words, the emotive words they talk about when they start talking about the things in the past that they don't want anyone else to know. They just don't want to share, even with their nearest and dearest. And often it's the nearest and dearest that are part of that story for them. And these are things that are holding them back. And I'm often found talking about the mystery being in the history. And there really is an element of that, because you can often trace things back. And I don't know if anyone's ever done gardening or anything like that, or where you're trying to find the root of what the problem is, and you start pulling, and it literally just keeps going all the way back. That's exactly how we are. We have an absolute taproot, a lifeline right the way back, and we can often follow it back to this actually possibly a tiny, tiny incident. Tiny, like Princess and the Pea. You know, it is the smallest instant, but it has grown and it has developed, and then we are the product of all of that has gone on in our minds. So today, you know, this is not about bringing all of that stuff forward and exposing ourselves randomly just to get it out there. And I don't know if anyone's seen the clip of the young boy being baptized, and he gets so overwhelmed, and he gets so he's worked so hard for that day, and he's just like almost shaking, and then he baptizes himself. He doesn't wait for the preacher to dunk him, he just goes under. And it's so wonderful, but that's not what we're talking about. Often what we find people doing is they do it and no one's asked them to do it, and then they've talked about it and they've exposed their story, and if anything, people are running for the hills. They're going, oh my God, if they're going to do that, they're likely to do that to me, and I'm not ready. That's not what I want. So it is about having a calmness inside yourself. This is about talking about being honest with yourself and getting comfortable with those feelings and understanding those feelings and why they are there. Because the second we do that, we turn down that dial of what I can only explain sometimes as pain, because it is a physical pain. Emotion is a physical pain, can cause physical pain. We covered that the other day, didn't we? Now, I was talking to a client about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, maybe a bit longer, and it was a very sad tale, really sad tale. And we'd done some digging around just to try and find out why or how we were struggling to move forward. And I likened it in the end. We had to build this metaphor for her to really understand. And I said, it's like, you know, say yesterday she'd watched this film on TV. So I said, will you be watching that film again today? And she said, no. And I said, but why not? And she said, well, I've seen it. And I said, yes. And you've experienced that incident before and that life before. So why would we want to keep replaying it? And she was very open and honest. She said, because I might forget. And I just looked at her, and it was just like a light bulb went on. Well, if I forgot, then obviously if someone then comes up behind me and says, "Do you remember?" It's like nasty shock again. But the truth is, it'll subside. It'll subside once we're comfortable with it. It's not about forgetting. You can't undo what's happened. But in actual fact, you don't need to carry it with you. There's a lovely quote about mountains, and these mountains that we carry around with us were only ever meant to be climbed. They aren't supposed to be carried with us. So it's that sort of thing that we're talking about today. So ladies, when you're thinking about getting out there and you're thinking about those people that will remember certain situations or certain instances where maybe you fell flat on your face or fell off this pedestal that for some reason you felt that you were on. Actually, we're all on a very even keel here. We do fall over, we do get up, and those people that matter to us are those people who help us get up, not those ones that are waiting in sort of some alleyway ready to trip us up again. So, but these people are out there. There's plenty of people. I mean, you don't get to 54 years old and not have made any mistakes or have anything to regret. And I don't believe in this thing is, when you get to your deathbed, the only things you regret are the things you haven't tried. Oh no, I'd like to swear because it's rubbish. Actually, those things that we regret that actually would have been in line with our values and given us exposure to something exciting and brilliant and new and things, they're the ones we regret, not the things that actually we probably did because we were a bit juvenile or drunk or angry, or they're not the things, they're not the things we should be, we absolutely do regret them. So let's have some honesty there. But anyway, these people that are still out there that will remember these situations, they'll have a completely different perception of it. Talk to parents and children, completely different perception of everything. So just bear with, if they're out there and they want to expose you, you cannot stop them exposing you. However, keep in mind, that's their perception of what it was. It's not your perception. And often your perception will be so much more self-critical than they can ever, ever put upon you. So the self-coaching for us today, for the rest of this week, is very much about making peace with yourself and making good the future from your past, because we are here and we are doing because of what we've learned. We are here and we are doing because we know better, because we have grown, and we are here despite, not because, but despite of whatever it was. So actually, ultimately, we need to be giving thanks to our past because we won't be repeating it. So I hope that's really helpful, and please share my videos. Sam, thank you so much for joining me. And I will see everybody hopefully on Friday, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.